Let's take a look at instructional practice 4. For those in preschool, it's playing with sounds inside words. And for those of you teaching kinder and year 1, it's around activities that build phonological awareness. And these, of course, would be continued as needed with students who need further practice in their phonological awareness. But let's take some time to think about what is phonological awareness. You can look inside the word at its structure and form and notice that it has PHONO, meaning that something to do with sound. You know another word like telephone that has that same base in it. It's around the science of sound. I want you to write one thing that you already know about phonological awareness. You can write it on a sticky note if you're working with others, or just make a note of a few things that you currently understand around phonological awareness if you're working on your own. If you're with other people and able to share, then once you've written some ideas down, share what you think that it's about, because this is about activating prior knowledge. You might want to make a chart at your table and share it with another table, or you may just make your own notes. Importantly, it's important that you reflect on what you currently understand before we go further to develop a common understanding. I'd like you can stop this video and spend some time actually having that conversation now. Once you've had that opportunity to have a conversation, let's have a look at what we know about phonological awareness, and let's compare it with what you've already made notes about. So see whether it's something that you have a question about or would like to learn some more about. We know that phonological awareness is an awareness of the sound structure of language, but it actually involves different size units of sound. It's all about sound. It's the umbrella term that we use for all of these different grain sizes. You will have heard of the word phonemic awareness, but you can see on this upside or inverted triangle here that phonemes are down at the pointy end. They're the smallest unit of sound that we work with in the classroom. So phonological awareness, first of all, is having an understanding about words, being able to separate the stream of oral language into words. Think about when you hear someone speak a language that you're not familiar with, whether you're actually able to hear and discern the breaks in words or not. Then once children are able to understand words and from a stream of sound, another part of language which is slightly smaller is syllables, and that's around hearing the rhythm of the words that we speak. Then, and the next smaller grain of sound is rhyme. Rhyme is about hearing that the words sound the same towards the end, at the end of the word, not necessarily the last phoneme, but the end part of the word actually rhymes, like cat and hat and fat. And then the smallest unit of sound is a phoneme. So that's the smallest unit of sound that actually can change the meaning of a word. So think of the word cat and then the word cot. So they differ by one phoneme, the at sound and the ot sound, but in actual fact, they have great difference in meaning. So we need to help our students be able to hear these finer grains of sound as well. So our essential instructional practice reminds us that we need to provide explicit explanation, demonstration, and opportunities to play with sounds in words and engage study of words. There's a lot of expectation just in that one dot point. We could start with in preschool, children learn to clap the rhythm of their name. Music teachers do a wonderful job with the rhythm of our language and the syllables that we within that language, within our language. So Emily could clap her name, and she could clap it 3 times for that rhythmic pattern in her name, whereas Peter just has 2 syllables and Jane 1. And children can really enjoy clapping their names, listening to the rhythm of their name and how it differs from another child's name. So this is the beginning of understanding about syllables that they'll take on to help them further in their language, in their reading and their writing later. The dot points also remind us that we should be listening to and creating a variation on books with rhyming. This is really all about innovation on text. Why, if we're going to practice doing lots of work on rhyme and hearing that the words sound the same at the end, then let's go to the amazing authors that have written so much about so many rhyming texts for us to enjoy, like Mem Fox and Pamela Allen and Eric Carle, and so many other, Julia Donaldson. There's so many authors who write in these rhyming couplets or in some form of rhyme. So take some of these texts, enjoy them, have your children listen for the rhyme, and then innovate and create your own. Remembering that it's easier for a child to hear the rhyme, so when you read a rhyming text, to be able to identify and hear a rhyme, or when words rhyme, is easier for them than to be able to generate a rhyme. So that's the next step for them, that you'll notice that in the Australian curriculum as well. Here are some ideas for you. So boo to a goose, you could innovate on the rhyming couplet like we did in preschool, where we've got this page here. I'd look out for Elle holding a bell, but I wouldn't say boo to a goose. So that rhyming couplet followed by that repetitive refrain is very, very popular. Brown Bear is another great one. You know, we innovated on this at the school called Moona, where they had the meerkat. So Moona Meerkat, what do you see? Was based on the same rhythm and rhyme as Brown Bear. So pull out some of the favourites and see if you can create some class-made books. That links very closely to Essential Practice 8 as well, where class-made books are seen to be of value. Here's an example from a kindergarten class where they were reading this wonderful book, Oi Frog. Lots of opportunities in this series of books for exploring rhyme. And they've innovated and provided some opportunities for children to make their own sentences up about, you know, Oi Frog, choose what you sit on. So sit on what, said the cat. So you can actually choose a word. They shouldn't have to choose a word that rhymes with frog, but they've been given a whole lot that they've already brainstormed before to set them off with some success in their writing their own rhyming couplets. Also, alliteration is an important part of phonological awareness, and so we need to be listening to and creating variations on books with alliteration. So, you know, Bridie's boots, there's the B straight away. Lily's purple plastic purse. Children really enjoy playing with this alliteration, which is where the initial sound in a word is actually the same. And so it's quite, it's actually a literary device that we use when writing. Even sophisticated writers will use alliteration. But for now, in this particular practice, it's about tuning the child's ear to the fact that that initial sound is the same. So once again, use literature to help you. Now we need also to provide demonstrations and playful practice in segmenting and blending sounds in words. So there's a lot of books out now that can help us with this playful practice. You can see one there on the screen. Did you take the B from my book, or the B from my book? And so there's been a phoneme deletion all the way through the book, which is quite fun, and also something that you could innovate on with the children and make your own. Also, there's an image here of from a kindergarten class where the children were actually thinking about things that they could do that would start with the same sound as the first sound in their name. So Fatima is flying. Sophie is swimming. Blaze is breathing. B, b, b. So Toby is tapping. T, t, t. So playing on these ideas and creating, once again, more class-made books for children to read is a great idea. But understanding what a phoneme is can be helped by some manipulatives, and one of the ones that we often use is this what's known as Elkin boxes or sound boxes. We're going to have a practice at sliding some counters in. We'll just have a look at another great book first. You may not know this one. It's called Q is for Duck, and it's an alphabet guessing game. So it starts by B as, or one of them is B is for dog. It's a wonderful opportunity to have a conversation around what would be connected to dog that starts with the B in the B sound here. So obviously the children might say bark, and then you can ask, why do you think that? And either because a dog barks. So you could play on this idea. If you're working with older children, you might want to be looking, there's another book that's not on the screen, but it's called Take Away the A. And it has pages in it such as, without the B, the bride goes for a ride. So you're taking off that B. So they're actually doing some phoneme manipulation. Without the D, dice are ice. Without the P, the plate is too late. So these books provide great models for you to play with and generate as well in your classroom. So let's have a go at practicing some phonemic awareness where we're segmenting words into their phonemes. Now, normally you would have like a 5-frame. You can see the image there. You can draw one of these on the piece of paper that you have in front of you somewhere, because what I want you to do is now, we in classrooms, I have a Ziploc bag with one of these little strips and 5 or 3 to 5 counters in each Ziploc bag, and we can just quickly hand them out to the children. I keep them in a basket, and when we're going to do some of this quick practice, we can hand them out as we all sit in a circle and practice sliding some counters in as we say the sounds in words. You could do this in a small group instruction as well. So let's have a go at thinking about the word rat. I want you to stretch out that word. So rat. How many phonemes or sounds can you hear? And as we say it, we can slide a counter in. So we go at. We don't need to even know what a letter R or letter A looks like right now. We're tuning the ear to the sounds in the language. Have a go on your piece of paper and think about how many sounds, how many phonemes can you hear in the word bin. The rubbish bin was put outside last night. Bin. Spend some time, think about it. So we go b, I, n, bin. All right, 3 phonemes. Let's have a go at, so if you've got the counters there, take them off. If you're just drawing like on so that you can count some dots on your 5-frame, think about how many phonemes can you hear in the word shop. Shop. Right now, some of the shops are closed. We have sh, o, p. 3 phonemes. But you know, you know that that shop has 4 letters. So this is where children start to learn about, if they recognise shop already, that the S and the H, we call it a digraph. They're 2 letters representing 1 sound. So that's why there's only 3 phonemes here. If we were writing letters in there, and you might do this in a year 1, 2, in individual practice or small group perhaps, then they would write the S and H in one box, then the O and then the P in separate boxes there. But right now, phonological awareness is all about sound, not about the letter-sound relationships. Even though I'll be about to tell you that when you're doing phonological awareness, actually it's quite often easier for children if we do it at the same time as we're looking at the letters. Let's have a go at chin. Stretch it out. Ch, I, n. So once again, we have 3. The CH is a digraph, so it's one representing one sound. Try the word green. Green. Stretch it out. What would be the first sound that you hear? And this is where there's some interesting conversations, because some people will go grr. But is that a phoneme? Or would it be possible that it's 2? Let's have a look. It's actually the first sound or phoneme we hear in that word is G. It's actually part of a consonant blend or consonant cluster, so we run them together quickly when we speak. So G, R, Gr, G, R, 2 phonemes, a consonant cluster or consonant blend. Gr, E. So, oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I've got the dots are not coming up there correctly. So it should be G, and then another dot for the E and another one for the N. I apologise for that. Let's have a look at the word drink. We're going to do it's exactly the same. Dr, it's actually got the D, D, consonant cluster or blend, I, N, K. So there are 5 phonemes, and there's the last 2 for green as well. So they have 5 phonemes in drink. So D, I, N, K actually has an initial blend and a final blend. Feel how hard it is to hear the k, the N and the K. This is why children miss it from time to time. And in fact, in spelling, doing some work with onset and rhyme helps there, because you can have drink and brink and think, and it's the I-N-K, ink, that they're learning that pattern as well. So these are phonemes that we're talking about here for phonemic awareness. Think about how you might use this task with your class or with a small group of children who would benefit from the manipulative of moving the counter into a box as they articulate the sound. Now, every time that we go out to a break is a good opportunity to practice some phonemic awareness. You can have robot talk, where you say to children, often use the green sheep as my puppet, but a robot talk where you go f, I, sh, and you don't say what the word is, and then as they go out to play, you look at a small group of children, you go f, I, sh, and they have to look back at you and go fish, and then they can get up and go out to play. So I often have a list of what we call CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant, or they can be this one here's got a digraph, the SH. So that's 3 phonemes in these words, so that I've got a ready access for some very short words that I can play these robot games with before children go out to play. It makes a really good use of transition time. Or you might say before they go, all children who have the sound at the beginning of their name may go. Or listen for a rhyme and connected to their name. So someone can go out to play, their name rhymes with tax. And so Max could go. So playing these games where you're actually doing phoneme manipulation or rhyme as they go out to play is a really engaging and very useful use of this transition time. But let's just have a little closer look at English sounds of English, because some of them are like short, or we call them stopped So the P, it actually sort of stops, it cuts off in the B. One's voiced and one's unvoiced, but they're both short. Whereas others have a longer, like the letter M, the sound is continuous. So some are short and stopped and some are continuous. Some of the R sounds are also loud and some of them are soft, that is voice on or voice off. So the P is a voice off sound, it's very soft. And the same sound but with voice on is B. Happens it's operating from the same part of our mouth, and T is voice off, but D is voice on, and K is voice off, and G is voice on. So you can see that there's different, the way we use our voice is very important, and so you can help children to feel where the sounds are made in their mouth as well. But sometimes as teachers, we have a very bad habit of adding the schwa, adding a vowel sound to when we're talking about sound. So have a go at saying some of the sounds that these letters represent. For example, when you project, when the sound is actually an unvoiced sound, so voice off, but you need to have everyone in the class hear it. You go P or sh or F instead of F. Spend a moment having a go at saying some of these sounds and see if you can say them without forcing your voice, which causes that the guttural vowel sound after you've made the pure sound. Take a moment. And finally, for Essential Practice 4, we're reminded that daily opportunities to write meaningful texts where children listen for sounds in words to attempt spelling is very important. This is very closely linked to Essential Practice 6, where we know that daily writing is important. But when children are practicing having a go at their writing and listening for the sounds in kindergarten, they are actually practicing phonemic awareness because they're listening to sounds and then they're trying to record them, which is obviously using their knowledge of phonics. But most developing readers and writers easily learn phonemic awareness through stretching out the sounds in words in their daily writing. So daily writing also gives us the opportunity to assess phonemic awareness because we can see which sounds the students are hearing. Quite often it's the dominant sound in the word that they start to record first. So please don't underestimate the importance of daily writing, and even when students are in kindergarten, it is important that they have a go and that writing is not copying something that someone else has written for them. Take a moment now to complete your audit for Essential Practice 4. Find that on your page. How confident are you in helping your students to develop phonological awareness at working with rhyme, working with alliteration, working at the phoneme level in words?